Welcome to the Ought to Know Better podcast. I'm Smarty, and tonight I'm joined by podcast regulars Mez, Carl, Adam, and Jay. How are we doing, boys?
Yeah, all good. Thanks.
Wonderful stuff.
All good.
So we are missing Gilly tonight, who normally handles the predictions. So for the Palace predictions, I'm going to hand over to Jay, if you will, sir.
Well, I'm buckling under the weight of this responsibility, but I'll do my best with this. So, going in order of what I've got in front of me here, courtesy of our friend Gilly. So, Adam went for 2-0 Leeds. So, there's 5 points for Adam.
One lad.
Didn't expect that. Becky, she's gone for 3-1 Leeds. So she gets 3 points because she got the winning margin and we won, so that's correct. Bren, 2-0 Leeds, so he gets 5 points. Emrender, 3-1 Leeds, 3 points. Gilly, he went 3-1 Leeds, so 3 points for him. Jason, he went 2-0 Leeds, so he gets 5 points as well. I think that's his first one he's got right, I think
so, yeah.
Yeah. Me, obviously, I went 4-1 Leeds, so I get a point. I can live with that. Carl, 3 points, you got 3-1 Leeds. Kay went for 2-1 Leeds, so she's got 1 point. Mez, you went for 4-1 Leeds, like me, so you've got 1 point. Nicola went for 2-1 Leeds, she's got 1 point. Smarty, 2-1 Leeds, so another point. And Ash finally with 2-1 Leeds as well, so a point for her.
Points all round then.
Yeah, I don't think anybody went against us there. We all went for the Leeds win, which is pretty positive. Looking at the table after that, somehow Becky's up top, and I've got no idea where she's come from. Ash is still second, but level are Smarty and Gilly.
Yeah, I'm doing the Leeds. I'm dropping down the table just nicely.
Nice. All joint second there.
Yeah.
And then there's me in sort of technically in third, I guess, with Nicola, and then there's Kay and Bren, and then after that it doesn't really matter because
just a dross. Just dross down at the bottom feed.
Who's bottom?
Jason's
totally
at bottom
irrelevant.
on -2, with Emrender just above on 0 points.
Wow.
Adam, you're barely alive there on 2 points, but obviously you got the right score this week, so you're going to shoot up the table and get an updated version from Gilly. So yeah, I've just realised the table that he's given us is the one without these prediction points on, isn't it?
There you go then.
That'd be about right.
No, that's
or is it just that you did
version.
so badly, Adam, that 5 points has only brought you up to 2 because you're doing that shit?
Stop the count. I demand a recount.
I think it's the updated
Donald
version.
Trump in the ranks.
version.
Ignore me,
Yeah,
I'm getting
right.
confused. I ain't
No,
got
no.
a clue what's going on. So yeah, so you're just on 2 points now, Adam. You're just above the bottom there. You're clawing it back up, just like in life, mate. You're fighting back.
Yeah.
Fighting back. Can I make a confession? You know, last week, and I know our listeners would have heard this. I was adamant that I guessed Everton 1-2-1, and then realised that we actually didn't do predictions for Everton game. So, in light of my blatant trying to get 5 points last week, I need to come clean, boys. And I actually said on the podcast that it would be 3-0 Leeds. So I will try and do the honourable thing and say
The absolute snake in the grass he is.
Oh, do you know?
He'll be getting
Gilly's
bad.
I tell you what, Gilly's got his favourites, hasn't he? He lets you off the hook.
That's an administrative nightmare for Gilly.
Follically challenged. All you baldies.
Yeah, they all stick together.
Don't fuck with the baldies.
I bet you guys are laughing in this lockdown, but the rest of us look like bloody idiots. Chuffing Cabbage Patch Kids.
Hell yeah.
I'm used to it.
You look like idiots, yeah? Sound?
Yeah, you do. I'll take that. I'll take that one.
Where's out of control, Barnett?
So the Palace game then. If you missed out a post-match analysis on the Baddie and Coke with Jay and Gilly, that was out today. But if you haven't listened to it, then head over and give it a listen. It's a really, really good listen. We've got a special introduction as well from a disgruntled Palace fan, which is
really enjoyed that.
It's pretty good. That I like how we dropped that one in there. Does anyone get anything else to say regarding the Palace match? Just
that it was probably that it was our most dominant performance, I'd say, this season. I haven't had a chance to listen to last night's Baddie and Coke because whoever's in charge of the socials didn't decide to tweet out until tea time tonight. I don't know who that is though.
Who could that have been?
But yeah, I'm probably only echoing what was said last night.
Very busy.
That we were absolutely dominant. They never even looked like beating us or even scoring for that matter, really.
Said on
Do you know what?
first match last night, there was never a point really that Palace looked threatening. They looked like they set up to not get beat, and the other goal kind of ruined the plan there, and they didn't seem to know where else to go with it after that. So I think that we looked comfortable all the way through.
Yeah, I think it was that the performance was that good last night. I think I watched the rerun on Sky Sports Premier League today. Like,
Did you?
I watched the highlights about 2
I-
hours later.
I had it stuck on in the background, and it was just nice to be able to kind of sit there and watch it over again and just be like, "We've won this already." Fine.
Adam, do you know what I would say, mate?
Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to a few boys at work about it today, and it was split 50-50. Some of the lads were saying, were Leeds brilliant or were Palace just absolute dog shit? And I kind of have to sit on the fence. I thought we were in control. I don't think we really got out of third gear at any point last night. The only player that did get out of third gear was Rafinha, and he was fucking unplayable. The rest of them, I don't think there was any other standout player. It was just a solid professional job against a typical shit Roy Hodgson team. But it was brilliant to watch us in control of a game from start to finish. I don't think we've seen that at all this season. So whilst it was a great result, I'm certainly not getting carried away with it because Palace were wank.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I was just going to say they're the epitome of a one-man team, aren't they? Palace. Without Zaha, they looked a bit hopeless, really. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I don't think they got out of third gear last night. I think it were just cruise control from the start, and that's it, really. Easy. I won't say easy 3 points because it certainly did more damage to us on the first leg, so to speak. But yeah, nice, comfortable win.
To echo kind of what you just said, Adam, it were nice to watch a game where you weren't shitting yourself every time a ball came into the box.
Exactly.
That's a new experience for me, that watching Leeds this season.
I had a friend of mine text me today, and he thought that in parts we were very negative, where we'd get into their half and then we'd kind of start passing it back. And I kind of looked at it, and after watching it again today, I could see his point a little bit, but it was only in the last 20 minutes, and I put that down to us being able to, we're learning how to see out a game rather than, obviously there was areas could bomb forward when we brought it out like that before we went back. But I think I actually prefer doing that with 20 minutes to go against a team like that. They were frustrated. We had the ball. Just keep it and see the game out. Don't concede. Get your clean sheet. But you can see why some people might think it's negative, but that's because we're so used to seeing us for 90 minutes absolutely nailing teams to the wall if we can,
That's because usually we're chasing the game, aren't we? Because we
but to see us controlling the game like that is it was quite comforting last night, I think,
It's normally us conceding in first minute.
Yeah.
Like to make it hard for us. On to the poll then. Every week we ask the listeners via a poll on Twitter to choose from multiple options to which the outcome is used as a main topic for the pod, and I'm going to hand over to Carl to discuss the poll outcome.
Yeah, sound nice one, Smarty. Well, like Smarty said, we do the poll weekly. We had hands off our talent. We're going to Europe or turning teams over. Now, with the resounding 60%, it was hands off our talent, please.
I voted for Europe.
Yeah, I've only got a passport that's about a year and a half old, and I quite like to use it a little bit, but we're going to go with the hands off our talent because that's the 60%er. So I'm going to go to Adam. Who, in your opinion, would be the ones that would bring us in the most money, and who do you think might leave in the summer?
I think the obvious answers to who would bring in the most money with all the garbage press going around at the moment is Raf and Calvin. But I think we've got not ready-made per se, but we've got talent in those positions that could come in. You look at the potential Shackleton's got and things like that. Yes, he's not going to be Calvin, but I think we could get by in a couple of years of cashing in on Calv. Same with Rafinha. Attacking, talented Brazilian wingers. Fuck me, there's millions of them. The one player that I think we must hang on to for all eternity is Meslier. Simple as that. I think, I honestly, if Calvin went for 50 million, 60 million, I'd be gutted. Of course I would. But I think with Bielsa we could create another Calvin. I don't think we can create another Melier. So that's the talent. That is the main man for me. And I think there's a couple of stats come out over the past 24 hours. I think Melier is the only other goalkeeper to have kept as many clean sheets under 21 was Joe Hart. And he was fucking England #1. He was at 70 caps.
That in the season,
Melier still
certain
got
period of the season.
It's for a season. No, it's for a full
So
season.
still a chance to break that then.
So it's break it. Yeah, 100% break it. And then you've got, and then was it last night? He had more completed passes than Eze.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's the one. Melier is a talent. Calvin at this point is, he's the focal point. Rafinha is just, an underdeveloped Neymar, if you will. But you can always find another fucking Rafinha. You can always find a talented winger to come in and blow the league away for a season. Can you find a keeper to do as well as Melier is doing? So
yeah, this is the thing. Like Melier's proper put his stamp on that #1. Like last season, we were kind of looking at it, and we were kind of, he's a bit young. He'll get us through the last 10 games, but he proper proved himself. And like I've been kind of championing him as France's #1 in the next year and a half. He'll definitely get in a first team national game. I think he'll make the bench. There's no one better. Like, I think Lloris is coming to the end of his kind of tether, I think, at the moment, and like there's no outstanding French keepers that anyone's ever heard of now at the moment, And I think, like, years ago, you had a few. You had Barthez and you had a few others, You had that keeper from Marseille years ago as well. And but now, sure, who's in his way? Like, there's no one. And I think, like you said, Adam, definitely the one to keep. Like, definitely the one to keep.
100%.
I think with regard to what you said about Rafinha, Adam, I think a lot of the plaudits have got to go out to Victor Orta and the team for bringing in somebody to a promoted team of his quality for 17 million quid. I think you're quite right. There's a lot of talented wingers out there. Is there a lot of talented wingers that join a newly promoted team for 17 million quid and have the impact that he's had? Probably not. I think as we establish ourselves more in Premier League, we've got more money to spend and whatnot. He is replaceable, but is he replaceable for the money we paid for him? Absolutely not.
No chance. But
I think
would you take 45 mil for him?
No, I'd want more.
Would you take 45 mil for him?
Nah. 22-year-old, isn't he?
I wouldn't, mate, because who else would you get? Like, you end up spending more money to get a player equivalent or better. So
his work rate's fucking tremendous.
No sense in it.
Yeah. No, I'm just being honest. Does he? I wouldn't take 45 either.
Watch out! You need to watch out. Don't wind him up. He'll burn your cat. I think you're right, Adam.
Dickheads.
He sits in the dark, so they can't use a still for the podcast. When he goes postal.
24.
Like, how long do you think he's going to stay at the club?
I would hope for a long time.
Yeah.
How long was his contract? It must have been a 5-year. Was it a 5-year contract? When he
don't mean fuck all. Patrick Bamford were putting him in shop window last night. The daft shite.
Yeah. And then he apologised for saying bloody.
Come along and nicked him like, well, you shut the fuck up. Not bad.
Bloody hell.
And then he said bloody. I mean, he got shy about saying bloody.
He's brilliant.
What a legend.
Yeah. So like, what do you reckon now, Jay? We'll just go to you quickly. Like, do you think if we do offload them, we're going to look at youth, or we're going to try and buy big in the market if we ever do have to offload any of them?
I don't know, to be honest. We've got some really good young players, but I don't think there's anyone who could step into those shoes, I think if we did offload him, we'd have to go into the market because we would be missing such a key player in my eyes. He's the one signing that's really made a difference this year. Like, you could take any of us out of the team, as we have, through, enforced absences, and the team will keep rocking and keep Rafinha in there, and we're doing great. Do you know what I mean? Take him out and put one of the others back in. I don't think we'd have the same impact as we do with him in the team. So for me, you've got to recruit if you let him go. I just hope that we don't. It's just.
Well, you look at who we replaced, Costa.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I've got to be realistic at risk of getting lynched, and I said this on Twitter to somebody when they were talking about Liverpool being in for him, and somebody said, "Oh, he left the Champions League side to come play for Leeds," and I was like, "Hang on a minute, mate. You know, he was playing for Rennes, and at the end of the day, they might be in the Champions League. They ain't got a hope in hell of winning it."
No.
Whereas if somebody like Liverpool comes calling, you know, he might think there's a good chance here I could get a Champions League medal, you know, that sort of thing. So I think you've got to sort of hold your breath a little and hope that he doesn't want to leave if his head's turned. But at the same time, we're a newly promoted team, and if somebody offered big money and he did fancy that, it'd be hard to sort of hold it against him. But I would hope that he'd at least give us a couple of years.
Yeah,
Well, at least
yeah,
we've got
you
a
hope so.
contract in place, haven't we? So whoever comes in is going to have to pay fucking stupid money, a bit like what we went through with Ben White. So
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
we don't have
Like
to sell him, yeah.
That's it.
I suppose it's down to the player as well. If you've got a team like Liverpool or City or anyone like that who's going to come knocking, your head's going to get turned. No matter who you are or what club you're playing for. But I suppose from a club point of view, you know, our scouting at the minute seems to be pretty good. We seem to be making some decent signings to replace Rafinha. We were lucky spending 17 million and him fitting so well into how our squad plays and stuff like that. To replicate that. Yeah. It might be a bit in miss. You might spend another 20 million on a flop. I don't want to single out Costa on here, but that's a 15 million pound player who can't play in Premier League. Or as far as we're aware, as far as what we've seen so far in the season, he can't play in the Premier League. He looks lost when he comes on. So how many of those signings are you gonna have to make before you can get a player of Rafinha's standard? Say we sell him for 60 million. Is he gonna take 3 goes at 20 million a pop to get someone as good as Rafinha? Who knows? So it's probably within the club's best interest to try and bloody keep hold of him. But you know,
I think that just reiterates out what the job that Orta does on behalf of Bielsa. We've not just got a good footballer there, but we're bringing good characters into the club as well. You know, lads that aren't thinking that they're better than the club. They're not posting stuff all over social media. A great example was Ben Rama when I think we were looking at him and he put that fucking video on Twitter or whatever it was of him. I can't even remember what it was. It's fucking shy anyway. And I think that
is nail in the coffin I've ever seen that. Isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that just, as I said, just reiterates Bielsa's and Orta's recruitment and what they look for. They're not just looking for skillful, fantastic players. They're looking at players that are going to be able to change the squad for the better, not only skillfully and potentially, but actually with their mental attitude as well.
I have this image in my head of Bielsa seeing that video of Ben Rama and just sort of sitting there drinking his cup of tea, his Costa, and
spitting it out while he sees it,
shaking his head, and then turning around to wall behind him where he's got all photos of players he wants and crossing him out with a big X across him.
Throwing his coffee lid at it.
All right. Well, do you have anything to add to that now, Adam, or anything? Or
no, I think we're all aligned with Rafinha. Is going to be incredibly difficult to replace for the money we spent. But that, to me, just Smarty, you made a great point about Costa being 15 mil. £2 million worth less than fucking Rafinha. And McBurney and Brewster at Sheffield United, 20 million a pop. Just shows how fucked the English market is and why
it really
go
does.
abroad. You look at Mahrez came from France, 400 grand at Leicester. Kante, 800 grand at Leicester. So if we're going on that business model that Leicester are doing, then we've got to expect big money. You know, we're paying pittance really for the talent. We've just got to take the fucking money and just keep going. Leicester seem to keep replacing those players. You know, they've replaced Kante. We've got 60 odd mil for him and fucking bought Mendy for 5 mil. So they're turning over. It's Moneyball, isn't it? And if you spend big in England, you're fucking stupid, as we're seeing with Costa and as Sheffield United are seeing with relegation.
Yeah,
it's a joke, the price of the young English players like that. I remember when we were in for Watkins and all that, and they were just like, 25 million. And we're just like, you're joking? It's a guy who's only ever played championship level, and we're just not going to pay that sort of money for someone like that. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And I think we really fancied him as well at one point, by all accounts. But
Well, it's weird you say that though. I mean, when Villa got promoted, they looked at spending what it 30 million rumoured to be in for Calvin Phillips. So I suppose it depends what sort of business model your club has, so to speak. But I think us, Leeds, we're a hell of a lot more careful, and our purse strings are a little bit tighter. Not necessarily. I think we've been had by Wolves on two occasions.
Did you think we'd been had by Wolves? Did you think we'd been had by Wolves when he was playing out of his skin, though? I thought he had some really good games last season.
Last season, I thought he did all right.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I'll be honest, but I mean, like in Premier League, Douglas is nowhere to be seen. He's gone, and Costa's, looks like he might be on his way out as well, even though he still does make the bench. But what does he bring?
The inflation in prices for English talent now. Do you think is that down to the new rule because they want a certain amount of English players in a match day squad, and a lot of the bigger, more established teams, as Bamford corrected himself last night, because Chelsea bought a load from out foreign, there's loads of teams that have bought foreign youngsters, and they're not going to class as British talent just because they've come from the youth ranks, So do you think is that a reason as to the inflation in English players' prices, like British players?
There's definitely got to be an element of that, hasn't there? Because
I'd say so.
If the authorities say you have to have this many players in your quota that are homegrown or whatever, then those people become a commodity because you have to have them, and nobody wants.
What legislates homegrown though?
I think it's trained by a club in this country for a certain period of time.
You could get some foreign lads in and keep them here for a while, and
and eventually will become homegrown.
Really,
they've got to be under 18 when they start the training, so they've got to be bought before they're 18. They've got to be signed, and they've got to have played a certain amount of games by their 21st birthday, and then they're classed as. And they've not allowed to. I don't think they're allowed to have represented their country at senior level either.
Is that supposed to stop them stockpiling now?
Well, Chelsea's academy.
But look at Liverpool.
It's like a fish farm, isn't it?
Liverpool are fucking
United Nations, isn't it?
Thousands of them.
Man, they had something like 50 odd youth players out on loan there 2 seasons ago or something.
Yeah.
But the half of them were all over Europe.
We had 2 our players. We had Blackman and Izzy Brown.
Yeah. And they had loads of players like that. Like Hudson-Odoi and all that. And,
Patrick Bamford a loanee of Chelsea's when he were at Borough as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Borough bought him off.
It's crazy.
Well, talking of English players in the inflation,
Sorry,
inflation with English players, look at Liverpool. Jordan Ibe, 35 million. Dominic Solanke, 25 million to Bournemouth.
Little
teams.
What did Nathan Ake go for?
And they're spending 60 mil on that. Fucking idiots.
I'll tell you who did do a good bit of business on an English player. Leeds United selling fucking Jack Clark for 8 million to Tottenham.
I was just thinking about that before when we were talking about the selling
what
talent.
About Harry Maguire?
I saw something on Twitter last night about who is it that owned? Is it Levy down at Tottenham? Oh, they've had Leeds' pants down, charging them 300 grand, 300 grand for the pitch, and I thought not as much as we had his pants down, selling him Jack Clark for 8 million.
I remember when he left and he said he did that interview and he said the plan was always to leave Leeds.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I'll
be honest with you. I didn't give 2 flying fucks. I was laughing all the way when he went.
I was a bit gutted at the time because I thought he was promising talent, but he's done fuck all since. So
he wasn't right when he came off at that game against Middlesbrough, was he? When he came off at half time,
when he necked 10 Red Bulls.
He didn't play, did he? We just on bench and had a bit of a wobble or something.
No, he played, did he? He came off.
I don't think he did.
I can't remember.
He came off, and then he was
Red Bulls.
Well, whatever. Regardless,
he was down on the pitch and had to be taken off, didn't he? He stretched it off on the pitch or something like that.
Whatever.
I think he came off and then just fainted.
Yeah,
7.7 million still up on them wankers anyway, aren't we? So
yeah, we got 8 million now.
Right, boys. I'm going to move us on to the Arsenal game this weekend. Are we hoping for a good result? I'm going to go to you, Luke, straight away. What do we think, mate? What we're going to do?
Well, I mean, I think if we go off the last game and the form we're in, I think they're in for a bit of a surprise. I've been reading some of the Arsenal fans' tweets and that over the past day or so as well, especially since the result last night. I think they're quite concerned. It's quite a nice position to be in as a newly promoted club To actually have Arsenal fans who should probably be competing for European, probably Champions League football, realistically, with the money they've spent, to be worried about little old Leeds United that have only been promoted after 16 years. Do you know what I mean? It's a lovely feeling to be in, and I think we'll cause them some trouble. I think they've got a lot of quality in that side, and they've come into a bit of form themselves over probably the last 5 or 10 games. I think they're the most informed side up until a couple of games ago. So yeah, I'm expecting a good game. Really, it'll probably be end to end, lot of open field. And as Bamford said last night, we sort of enjoy playing away a bit more at the moment, just simply because of the pitch. There's no fans, so it doesn't make all that much difference. Because of the pitches, he was quite open and said the pitch before was shite. Now it's really, really, really quick. So the pitches that we play on away that have bedded in, so to speak, sort of suit Leeds and the rest of the squad a bit more. So yeah, expect a good game. I think it'll be relatively close. I don't think it'll be a runaway winner. We missed the chance to beat them, didn't we, earlier on in the season? And I expect us to push them a bit further this time and take the win.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think you're right there. Have you got anything to add, Jay?
I think it's going to be a different game to last time we played them. Much like one of the poll options we had actually about how we're now turning teams over that beat us, you know. I think that we'll give them a bit of a shock, and I think that they're on a bit of a downward spiral at the moment. We've got to try and capitalise on that. I'm just having a look at some of the sort of early team news to see if there's anything come out about it, and apparently David Luiz will be back, so that's good for us. Because he's fucking shy, and they're hoping to have Thomas Partey fit apparently, even though they thought he was going to be out. So
he's done fucking nothing. Sorry.
Well, no, that's true, but he's still a quality player. Kieran Tierney might be back as well. Don't really care. I think we'll beat them either way. They've had a few defeats recently. We've had a few wins. We're on better form than they are. Fingers crossed, and hopefully we don't concede an early goal, because that always seems to be the undoing for us. And teams do seem to go at us a little bit at the start of the game.
Yeah, they also play. They play Benfica on the Thursday after playing us as well. So while they've got a few players coming back, I mean, I was saying they were the form team up until I think the last 2 games in the league where they've been beaten. I think was it Villa and then somebody else beat them. Wolves, I think, before that. When was it Luiz got sent off against Wolves?
Yeah,
that's right. So up until just before that game, they were the informed team in the league, and they were playing some good football. You know, players were started performing. I think that Joe Willock and Saka were playing really well for them. And yeah, I think up until had we played them a couple of games ago, I'd have been a little bit more worried. But I think we've got. I think we've sort of come into a bit of form now. I think they're out of form. They've also got a big Europa League game. I think it's around a 32 away at Benfica on the Thursday after the Sunday as well. So they'll be looking forward to that. I just think it's a good time to be playing Arsenal as a Leeds team that's in form.
Well, we've lost the last 2, so let's hope that continues.
Well, we have a bit of a confidence team out when we seem to we play well. Especially as well as we played against Palace. So I'm hoping hopefully we'll turn it on against these lot and show them what we're all about and finally get a win over them.
Is there any news on? Is there any news on any of our injuries in terms of Rodrigo or anything? Because I think I've said this before previously. We look far more balanced with Dallas, Click, and KP in midfield than we do with Rodrigo. Although he's fantastic and he offers a lot move going forward, he offers fuck all defensively. Does Rodrigo for me? He's not a defensive player. His defensive work rate is shite, but he's a fantastic player. So he almost gets in the team on that. But for me, we've looked a far better and more balanced team with Click, Dallas, and KP in midfield, and I'd like to see that. I'd see that continue, but I don't know much about it. Yeah.
Is it because the lads are so used to playing with each other and know where they are all the time? You know, you play with guys next to you for 2 seasons. You probably are going to play better with the lads that you've been playing with 2 seasons than a guy who's just coming at start of the year and in bits as well. He didn't come into the starting 11 straight away, did he? We introduced off the bench. for
It's
the
not
first
just
5
it's
games.
not just that though, is it? It's playing Bale's system as well. They've been
Exactly,
playing for
yeah.
a few years.
He's a 9 anyway, isn't he? Let's be honest. I mean, he was brought in because people didn't expect Bamford to be able to do it in the Premier League, and Rodrigo was brought in as the new 9, I think. And because Bamford's been fucking shit hot, he hasn't had a look in at 9. So Bielsa's noticed he's got some creativity about him. Tried to put him not in the 10 because we don't play with a 10, so to speak, but in that attacking midfielder role. That we use, and he, don't get me wrong, there's no fucking doubt he's absolute class. He's got some class about him, some of the touches and his passing and things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just don't think he molds as well with the midfield two of either Click or Dallas and KP. I just think the three of those in together just bring far more balance, and they seem to work a lot harder as well.
What are your guys' thoughts regarding Rodrigo and maybe offering a little bit of competition to Bamford? I mean, in my opinion, you know, when Nketiah was at Leeds, Bamford were playing well. Then he kind of fizzled out. He left, obviously went back to Arsenal. We got Big Kevin. He were in and around doing a bit of training. Bamford's form seemed to dip a little bit. But since, obviously, we've reintroduced another bit of competition for him, is his form picking up? Is that what we think we need, Bamford? Is he need someone who's going to there to push him along and try and keep him on his toes a little bit? What are your guys' thoughts regarding that?
I reckon so. I think he knows that if he drops his levels, that Rodrigo will get a chance at 9. We all know that. Didn't he get played at 9 in the cup game? Didn't do fuck all like. Yes. It shows that Bielsa does still see him as a front man.
Yeah.
I think it's worth noting as well that the players that we brought in, I mean, Big Kev was injured all the time. So when we brought Nketiah in, he was a young understudy, whereas Rodrigo's a sort of different type of competition. He's somebody who's played for fucking Spain at number 9 and played well. So it's probably helping Bamford's confidence rather than potentially being a bit of a, who's this young kid that's coming into as a loanee trying to take my place at Leeds United. I think he's actually, Bamford's working even harder than he's ever worked. You watch him, some of the fucking running he does, man. He's so unselfish. And he was saying last night while he was interviewed, the defending starts with him, and he's quite right. He fucking closes that back line down so hard, and even when he doesn't get a goal or he misses the odd chance, and that you don't really mind too much anymore because he works so fucking hard for Leeds United that he deserves a break now and then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I knocked him a lot at times in the past, but I don't think anyone else could do quite what he does for us.
Absolutely not.
Go on, Cal.
I was just going back to the Rodrigo thing where you were saying that, Mez, you were saying that you prefer the Klitsch, Dallas, and Phillips trio in midfield. Like, I've noticed that we've kind of sometimes we lose that creativity in that number 10 role when Click is there because he's asked to defend as well as he is try and create. Now, he played some lovely balls about the place last night, don't get me wrong, but I just found that Rafinha and Harrison were linking up quite well with a like-minded player just in behind Bamford. And I think at the moment, that's where Bielsa sees him until obviously Bamford is surplus to requirements, I'd imagine. But I think with him in there, that's kind of where he sees him linking up the wide play as much as possible, you know, being that link between the midfield and the attacking line. Like,
that's why you think Bielsa sees Rodrigo?
At the moment, yeah, until Bamford becomes surplus to requirements, and then obviously you move Rodrigo forward and you have bought in a number 10 to play that role and then continue to link the play there as well. Like, I don't know. What do you think? Like,
that's an interesting take. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's a fair point, and I think as I sort of alluded to it a little bit earlier, that is pretty much because he's got that class and he's been and done it for Spain. That Bielsa feels he's pretty much got to be in the team because he adds so much value going forward. That's just my personal opinion. And I'm not going to go against fucking Marcelo Bielsa, but we do look far more balanced and energetic in midfield without him in there.
So moving on to the predictions for the Arsenal game, then I'm going to go around the room and ask you how you think we're going to do. Mez, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, I think we are going to concede, but I think we'll be too strong. Play them off the park, and I think we will. We'll score 3 of his own. I'm going to go for a away win, 3-1 Leeds.
Wonderful stuff, Adam.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Mez. I think we'll concede. I think we'll concede a sloppy goal. but I can see us outscoring them and outplaying them, and I think that they seem to have a lot going on behind the scenes at the moment at Arsenal. There's a lot of stuff on social media that I'm sure people have seen. So yeah, I can see him going into a bit of free fall after the Villa game as well, and yeah, I can see it being 2-1. I'm going to go with. I think we'll make it look comfortable as well.
2-1. Jay?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to go 4-1. It's got to happen at some point, and why not against Leeds? We're on good form, and they're not so much. So who knows? Anything's possible.
If there were ever a game I'd want you to be right, it's definitely this one. Carl, lastly?
No. Going all right. I've only been let down by the people who didn't have faith in us against Leicester, and I've only been let down by those people. So hang your heads in shame.
Left let down by his own kin.
Yeah.
By his own mates. I'm going to go 3-1. I think I like Mez has said. I think we'll concede probably a goal, maybe in the second half or something. But yeah, I think we'll be too strong for him. Hopefully, playing off the park. David Luiz to score in the second half for me. I think that arse wipe. But yeah, that's how I see it going.
Is it that?
So moving on then to the Hock Topic. Everyone's favourite segment of the Arsenal Know Better podcast. I'm going to come to Jay first then. Is it Arteta or the Hock for you this week, my friend?
Well, it's going to have to be the Hock for me because Arteta, he looks like a Thunderbirds Baddie. It freaks me out a little bit.
Really? I've not heard him being called that ever. by anyone.
Well, anyway, this
is new information.
It freaks me out because you don't know what's going on behind his eyes. You don't know what he's capable of. You don't know what's in his cellar. It could be a missile. It could be a prisoner.
Or a child.
So I'm going. Well, we don't go there. I'm going for the Hock.
The Hock.
Not Wenger.
Adam, have you got anything to
add?
Who's that? Me?
Yeah.
Sorry, boys. Speaking about Thunderbird comment, I'm going to have to, for the first time and probably the only time on this podcast, I'm going to go with the Hock. And it's quite simply men. I don't trust anybody with hair that dark when he's 43, 44. So I'm not having it. He's got hair like you, Smarty. I'm not having it, mate. So for that reason,
I use butt polishing my hair just to hide the greys, especially now I haven't had it cut for bloody months or whatever it is. Luke.
Yeah, similar to Adam. I think I've only been on the main pod 3 or 4 times. I've picked everybody but the Hock, I think. But on this occasion, I think he's I don't really trust him. He's not who he says he is, and I think the Hock is my favourite because whilst Arteta probably had a better playing career, the Hock's had a better career teaching at school.
Mopping up sick.
He's
had a better career mopping up sick after kids have thrown up all over his gym.
After he flogged them.
Carl?
Well, it's going to have to be nearly a clean sweep for the Hock, I think, strictly because even though Arteta isn't a mank, and he wasn't technically on the blue side, and we're okay with blue, but no, he's a mank for whatever length of time he was there, so it's got to be the Hock.
Absolutely, yeah. I like the Tracy Island reference that Jay came up with there. I've not heard that one before, Jay. That's totally new information.
Original
right, like yourself.
That's me.
Proper OG in the house.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a clean sweep for the Hock, the PE teacher and 10-metre swimming badge extraordinaire that he is. I don't know what Arteta's done to land a job at Arsenal. He's in a similar sort of camp as Lampard did with the Derby and then the Chelsea job, and hopefully, not to put him out of a job, but yeah, I hope you get fucking sacked soon because you're shit and so's your team. So the Hockaday wins a full house for this evening. Go on, Dave. Go on, Big Dave. Closing comments then, chaps. Anything to add?
Not a right lot, to be honest. Just looking forward to the next game, and obviously we'll be we'll be having a Brady and Coke after that one, so don't forget to join us for that.
Definitely. Do we have who have we got on this episode? Do we know yet? Who's taking this one?
I don't know without looking at Gilly's schedule because he's in control now. We need to
The IT
need
man.
to refer to the fact sheet.
Yeah,
Like a young Sam.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
Like a young Sam. Even though I think he's quite a lot older than that Sam, but whatever. We digress. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the Don't Know Better podcast on all our popular audio platforms, and of course our YouTube channel. And if that's it from everyone, then thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
thanks very much.
Take care, everyone.
guys.